A man went into the woods once a week. Then his wife decided to follow him, and after that, she was never the same. Samantha had been in a relationship with John for 10 years, and after all those years, John was going into the woods once a week in the evening, and that was every Saturday, and Samantha didn't know what John was doing there. And that bothered her a lot, because she sensed something was wrong, but she didn't know what exactly. In the early days of their relationship, John had developed this habit, but it didn't shock her. She simply thought that her husband needed to recharge his batteries alone in nature. But little by little, things began to go sour between them, and Samantha now suspected John was cheating on her, but she couldn't be sure, until she saw it with her own eyes. Then one evening she decided to follow John into the forest. Then she saw it stop, and that's when she realized she was going to find out what John had been doing there all these years. The moment she laid eyes on what John was doing, it was as if time stood still. In that fleeting, pivotal split second, her entire world was turned upside down, marking a profound and irreversible shift in her life's trajectory. Follow me and find out what happened next in part 2. Never the same part 2. As I told you in part 1, Samantha and John had been a couple for 10 years. And for 10 years now, John had been going into the woods one night a week. And at first, this didn't shock Samantha because she loved him more than anything else in the world. And she told herself that her man simply needed to be alone. But little by little, there was trouble brewing between them. And Samantha now suspected he was cheating. So, to find out for sure, Samantha decided to follow John out into the woods one night. So she followed him into the woods on the sly. And John stopped at one point, and she realized that everything was about to become clearer to her, and that she was finally going to find out what John was doing in the woods. And that's when she watched in amazement as deer approached John, and she actually realized that John had been feeding his deer for 10 years now, and that he needed this to recharge his batteries. It was in that defining moment, as events unfolded before her eyes, that she came to an enlightening realization. She understood, perhaps for the first time with such clarity, that John was indeed someone she could place her trust in, a realization that brought a newfound sense of reassurance and confidence in their relationship.